Echo.
Fuck! With you. My dog's like, you good, man? I'm good. I'm just not great. This is
We're going to start off with what this post wants to start with the fact-based timeline. On March 8, 2014, Malaysian airline flight departs from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia en route to Beijing Capital International Airport in China. So this is during 42 Malaysian time, okay? So 12:42 in the morning. This is basically, the very, very dead of night. And of course, throughout several hours, of course, voice communications from the cockpit is made with words like good night, Malaysian 370. Now, of course, I'm going to look at the Wikipedia section for this too, just because there's a fair amount of sources that one can actually look at from here too. You see these little tabs at the end of a Wikipedia sentence. That's typically a citation that is leading to. So to understand the communication from 2:25 to 8:19 Malaysian time, they start detailing first handshake, then the second handshake, third handshake. The last time was 8:19 with the seventh handshake, which was, a partial handshake, and the aircraft did not respond to a ping at 9:15.
okay, so now Twitch isn't getting repeated.
Now, according to this thread, what they've actually detailed is showing you the flight path, so from Malaysia all the way to Beijing, China. And of course, they start, combining the multiple times with when this plane was pinged, when the handshakes were given. And of course, finally, from what I understand, according to this graph, this yellow line represents the possible, areas that the plane could have actually headed to before it ran out of fuel, all right? Planes have limited fuel. Sometimes they have to dump fuel in order to finish a flight. This is the total time possible before, the plane would have to forcibly be grounded. Now, of course, what you understand is this led to one of the most expensive airliner searches, and in recent times, there have been a few videos that have come up back into question to showcase what some theorists like to believe is a possible disappearance. Okay? So one of the videos is FLIR footage, and the other video is a satellite.
Oh my god, I wish I could just turn it off, but it's like not, it's like
comparisons. We're gonna watch both
not working
together. So inside this video over here,
it's so fucking
this
weird.
Is the plane exactly flying. All right, this is thermal footage, green-blue thermal footage, which is first off a little bit odd.
Just turn that shit off.
Thermal images, you would imagine hot and white hot. All right, which is typically black and white, or an inverted version of that thermal imaging. Not necessarily this, but we'll continue. So you can see that the plane is flying. This is actually captured from what these people believe to be a drone. An MHQ-1 drone. Of course, you can see the plane is.
This will be really nice once I have it set up. It's just like
wild, ladies and gentlemen. So as the plane is flying, you start to see these orbiting dots, and of course, then there becomes
that worked that time.
Dots, 3 orbiting dots.
Okay,
and then,
I'm exiting the page now.
At one point, will disappear from this. So immediately, this is a bit disconcerting. Okay, you can even see the trails that these dots create. Again, if this is CG
let's try a different phrase, other than just test Magnus, maybe.
Close to the plane, you can see
in a minute.
on the fuselage. You can see more of these dots.
I don't know how long it locks you out of TTS, to be honest.
And of course, boom, disappears.
Hello world.
Like that.
Hello world.
Truly wild video footage, okay? And there's been a fair amount of people who've been researching into this and trying to debunk this footage from a visual standpoint. Now we're going to look at the satellite footage as well too, because it provides a clear view optical.
I'm like beaten, dude.
So as it's flying, ladies and gentlemen,
so beaten at this point.
And by the way, thank you for the context, YouTube. It's added that into the situation. The plane is flying, and
maybe the aliens will just fucking kill me.
One of the dots sort of coming towards this plane and starting to circle it. And of course, if we watch the previous footage, it all lines up with another dot, then a third dot, and then eventually, if we go down even further and further and further, it will eventually just disappear. It's like, boom, out of nowhere, it's gone. Now, if you look closely into this situation, at the bottom left, you'll start to see cut off words. And this is going to be like the X and Y coordinates, but also there's an identifier flag too. And it appears to be NROL-22. Now, there's been some dispute, and I really hate the fact that this is cut off because some people have speculated this is part of a group of spy satellites, and the identifier code could be 22, 23, some have speculated 77. Now, if I'm looking at it real carefully, and I know it's going to be a little bit hard for you to tell, these are curved at the top, so usually the digit 2 has a curve to the top. It goes all the way down straight, and if it was a 3, you would start to see 2, and then sort of a pin here, and then it would, obviously go down. This looks like 2s, okay? Now, I'm sure some people could say it may be 7, 7. I'm saying it's more 2, 2. There's been a bit of a dispute on this, but I think generally the UFO community, the UAP community believes this is from a spy satellite known as NROL-22. Also, it's a satellite that I believe is referred to as USA-184.
Triumph is now live streaming, just chatting day 2 chillin' for a bit, playing hashtag BALDURSGATE3. Really excited to finally play.
From a YouTube channel known as Regicide Anon. Now, of course,
it's fucking Stream Elements.
UAV captures
fucking Stream Elements. Give me a minute, boys.
This, ladies and gentlemen, was posted on the 12th of June, 2014.
I think I found our
What a
culprit.
lot of people have been kind of comparing it to is if you look at the actual disappearance of the Malaysian airline flight, that happened on the 8th of March, 2014. This happened just, a month after that entire situation. So, of course, this led some people to kind of connect this to this situation. And, of course, Regicide Anon never made a huge deal about it.
In fact, the only post that I could see detailing all the way back was in May 22nd of 2014, about 9 years ago, where Regicide Anon even tagged in a few popular UFO accounts even at the time. Beyond that, none of this footage really mattered until, 9 years later, today, when we're looking at it.
In fact, if anything, if I looked up the original reference point of this entire thing, there was maybe one 4chan post on the X, the Paranormal board, where they talked about this whole situation. Flight MH370 kidnapped by aliens? Dunno, looks fake, IMO. That's clearly secret Chinese military technology practicing taking out airplanes without a trace. So again, there's just a bunch of speculation, no actual hard proof. But again, this is one of the origin points of the video. There was the actual satellite video, the airliner and UFO, posted May 19th, 2014. So again, 2 months after March. Actually, I should get my time frame in right. The thermal video was released after this one. So again, May 19, 2014, this is where the actual NROL-22 footage was posted. And this seems to be stereoscopic. We'll get to a lot of the video analysis too, but this is as far back as it's come out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there was also posting on Vimeo by Area Alienware 9 years ago, where they actually talked about it, Desaparición del Vuelo, and they even referenced MH370 as well too. So this isn't like a brand new set of videos that just dropped. This actually resurfaced almost out of nowhere. So in a bit of the video analysis over here, the community members who made the post wrote that there is some cloud movement. Unfortunately, what I hate about this is they've used literally 2 frames of a video to show possible cloud movement. Now, of course, it appears, according to this situation, that they're moving in a simple horizontal and vertical movement. Some might expect from a 3D rendered scene object. What they've claimed is the clouds are moving realistically. Again, I would love to ask 3D VFX artists if this is actually a reality. So of course, then they started to match the plane identity by taking the actual airliner that was missing and then combining it with or superimposing the thermal image we saw earlier on top of it. And from there on then, they ended up matching the plane, it seems, and I guess confirming that, or at least in this post, confirming to these guys that this was in fact the same plane. Now, a few individuals in this entire post had looked into where the thermal imaging had came from, and it appears that it apparently came from an MQ-1C Predator drone, an exclusive little drone that the United States has, which is where they apparently seem to have captured this thermal image from. And allegedly, the satellite video was recorded somewhere near Mar de Burma, and of course, the last known location of MH70, from what I understand, is the Straits of Malacca, which is right over here, just, you know, around near Malaysia. So, again, people have been trying to geolocate this situation with that alleged satellite photo. Again, I have to say alleged because nobody can confirm the validity as of today. So to understand, we got to get some of the time frame right, okay? In order for this video to exist, and let's say that it was a hoax, right? So because the actual disappearance happened on the 8th of March, we all know this is objective fact, this would give about 72 days, at least, for the first satellite video, the Clearview satellite video that was uploaded on the 19th of May to be created. So again, what you have to do is create two exact videos, right, that basically have the same exact content occurring, obviously one from a thermal image drone and one from the satellite view as well too. So to understand, people have speculated this may have been done, debunkers have speculated this could have been done in a 3D environment, and of course, you know, you would have to be a really, really talented, really committed to the bit level of hoaxer to get the same satellite data, and while CGI was definitely difficult back in 2014 compared to 2023, it's not impossible. You know, you could create incredibly real cloud simulations, you could create a lot of CGI, and this is where a lot of VFX artists have jumped into the mix trying to disprove this video. And again, this video is not proved to be real, and a lot of people have not proved it to be 100, I guess, % fake. Again, there's a lot of analysis being done by a lot of third parties behind the scenes too. So let's get down to even more facts about the situation. Now, inside this situation, just 6 hours ago, an individual looked into how the videos were recorded and found that if this was actual footage that was captured, the spy footage, it would most likely, and again, the current theory is recorded off camera. Nobody screen recorded the satellite footage. It was recorded through a camera facing the actual screen, and that's how they ended up getting it.
It's getting to the point where analysis of this entire video has gotten to the point where we're looking at, of course, text. In some cases, we're looking at situations regarding the mouse that was briefly on the video itself, where they actually bring into the fact of cursor drift, for instance, and begin discussing the sub-pixel precision on this mouse too, which indicates if it either was recorded off screen or it may have been superimposed via post if this video is visual effect. And if it is VFX or CGI footage, I feel like these inaccuracies would probably, like, it's not hard for human beings to ignore these kind of inaccuracies.
So it's only with Kick that I'm getting that issue.
The rest of the footage, this should be an easy layup. Again, it may have been an afterthought, but it would be a pretty damning afterthought if people have figured this out. And the thing is, this is the kind of analysis that's happening in this entire footage that is basically pushing people into wondering if this is like real or not. Like, we're getting into the point where we're looking at every tiny detail to see if it all matches up, or if there is just one discrepancy, then this video is completely unusable. You know, people have reached out to the National Reconnaissance Office for the background of this footage, and I honestly don't think that the US government will even talk about this footage simply because it's not in the... why would they even discuss what the second voice
Do you know what the second voice is from?
But let me know what you think. And again, for those
I think it's from Stream Elements,
recorded off screen, the general theory is,
but I'm not positive.
Skiff where you weren't supposed to be recording. This is, of course, very much guerrilla-style videography. But again, I want to ask what people think. There have been answers. This pixel drift could have been through remote desktop software. But again, what do you think? The facts are right here. Not the facts, rather, but the presentation of the video
so
is
right
here, and the theories have been presented in front of you.
Now, one of the things that people have looked into is like how the plane banked. So normally commercial airliners, and again, feel free to correct me if you're a pilot, fly straight. The plane actually started banking like a fighter jet out of Grand Theft Auto 5. And again, I think the fighter jet is the absolute best way to put it. So again, it's pretty abnormal to see. And of course, people have speculated if this is 3D imagery, then it could obviously be recorded in multiple viewports. You could even make something look like FLIR footage if you really wanted to. So this is one of those scenarios where I think we need a bit more evidence to work off of. And again, you can't discount the fact that this isn't CGI because, again, we haven't proven if this footage actually came from a spy satellite. Now, we got to talk about the satellite NROL-22, and this is actually brought up by a few of the, Twitter God, I hate this name change. Twitter, like a UFO discourse, where like some accounts, like this one in particular, stated that MH370 video is stereoscopic 3D. NASA's confirmed NROL-22 is equipped with this technology. What technology? Let's look at it, okay? So USA-184 is an American military reconnaissance satellite that was launched by a Delta IV rocket from Vandenberg Air Force Base. So USA-184 contains the Twins-1 two wide-angle imaging neural atom spectrometer instruments. A mission of opportunity under NASA's Small Explorer companion instrument Twin 2 was flown on board on USA 200 launch. Twins is a stereo mission whose overall scientific objective is to establish the global connectivities and causal relationships between processes in different regions of the Earth's magnetosphere. To meet this goals, Twins 1 and 2 provide stereoscopic neutral atom imaging of the magnetosphere from two widely spaced, high-altitude, high-inclination spacecraft. So again, at no point did anybody ever say that this has a optical payload, basically a camera, to get that crisp, clear footage we saw, right? Where like the plane disappeared. Typically, I looked into this and I analyzed it the best way that I could. To understand what twins imaging is, let's look at what a twins image looks like. So according to the twin system, which we're going to look at, these are NASA instruments. This is from the US NRO, National Reconnaissance Office.
This is so fucking dumb.
Here, this is what it looks like. This is the first light stereo ENA image of the terrestrial ring current obtained by twins. So this is what images look like, and it's not anywhere supposed to be clear optical payloads. Now, of course, this has brought up some questions. People have brought this up to these UFO researchers as well. So, for instance, one guy here says NRO-22 doesn't have a camera. It has signals intelligent payload. A topic also brought up by 4chaners who were looking into this topic too. Debunk number 1. NROL-22 satellite seems to be plausible. No, it's not plausible. NROL-22 doesn't even have an optical payload since it's a signals intelligence satellite. Each satellite has its own purpose and its bus is developed accordingly. You have to be very efficient and pragmatic when it comes to SATs. That too in 2006. Remember, this is not a recent situation. These are satellites launched a long time ago, almost a decade at this point. And of course, what is the reaction by a ufologist? Yeah, it does, but it's classified. Again, I feel like the evidence of debunking needs to be falling more towards this person's favor. What I'm saying is, if you're going to tell me that this optical camera is classified, do you have any documentation to prove that this is classified? Literally, they were asked, where's a document that it's classified? Crickets, chirping, there is no proof. And again, if somebody really looks into a conspiracy like this without being objective, without being realistic, they will try to use whatever evidence to fit their worldview rather than looking at things objectively. Again, how did that camera footage come out, and can you actually prove that it came from that specific satellite, and if that footage is even capable of being recorded from that specific satellite? That is something, as far as I've been able to check, nobody is able to do. Now, there has been debris that has been found of the situation. Several pieces of marine debris found on the coast of Africa and on the Indian Ocean, islands off of the coast of Africa, the first of which was discovered on the 29 July 2015 on Reunion, have been confirmed as pieces of Flight 370. The bulk of the aircraft has not been located, prompting many theories about its disappearance. Of course, theories that we're looking into right now. So here's actually from the Ministry of Transport in Malaysia. Experts complete examination of the Mozambique debris. So here they actually write, both parts are consistent with panels from a MAS Boeing 777 aircraft and almost certainly are from MH370. That is the Malaysian government talking.
I just don't get. I don't fucking get it, man.
That were part of the search effort. So that's one of the things going. If this truly was kidnapped by UAPs, like disappeared, sent into a different dimension, why is it that parts of the plane have been recovered, right? Yes, there's no bulk of the airplane, but it really wouldn't... I need to see proof on why certain parts of the plane ended up showing up if, you know, not all of it got teleported. Again, these are things that need to be consistently debunked. We can't be playing favorites with the information and facts. Facts do not play favorites. You have to take them all, and you have to debunk or prove